Hello, and welcome to Beering in Mind Beer Reviews. We are in the middle of a series of beers from Shiga Kogen brewery in Nagano Prefecture. We looked at 8 of their kind of regular lineup beers, and now we're in the middle of a series of special beers or limited release beers, and this is the third one today, and that is this beer. It is called 1 Ton IPA, with a T here representing ton. And ton, of course, is a measurement of weight. In metric, it would be about 907 kilograms. And the name comes from the fact that they claim that they used a ton of malt in making this beer. It's a 9.5% IPA, so it's definitely classified as a double IPA or imperial IPA. And now, Shiga Kogen Brewery is located in the northern part of Nagano Prefecture, which is to the west of Tokyo. It's a very snowy area, and in winter, of course, they have they have mountains, and so lots of winter sports. In fact, it was the venue for the Winter Olympics many years ago. And this brewery is attached to Tamamura-Honten, a sake brewer, which goes all the way back to 1805, so quite a long history. And they branched out into craft beer in the early 2000s. They established themselves in 2003 and began brewing in 2004. And they are known for using a lot of their own ingredients in their beers. 20% of the hops generally for their in their production, and that is their hops that they grow themselves. And in some of their beers, like their Yamabushi series, which is a series of saison, barrel-aged saisons, they use 100% of their own hops. So they've been around for about 16 years, and they have developed into one of the better breweries in Japan. In my opinion, they are one of the best. And the brewery also has a small tap room attached to it called the Teppa Room, where you can try out a lot of their beers. And they have a bar and restaurant called the Farmhouse, not too far away, where you can eat and also try their beers. And they have a sake museum where you can learn about sake brewing and the history of sake. And they also sponsor a beer festival, which is held generally every February. It's called Snow Monkey Beer Live. There are Asian, or what they call them Japanese monkeys, and they are quite plentiful up there in that part of Japan. I've seen them in the summertime running across the road. And in winter, they like to frequent the hot spring areas, which are, of course, warm. So they're a well-established brewery, well-respected among other brewers. They participate in lots of beer events around the country. The brewer is named Sato Ego, and he's a very friendly guy. And he has developed into one of the finest brewers, I think, in Japan for beer. And now let's get back to 1 Ton IPA. And this, again, is an imperial or double IPA. And on the website, they claim that this version is their 8th time brewing this, or 8th batch of this, and they see it as an attempt to create a kind of old school West Coast IPA. And it may actually be that. A little bit strong for that style, perhaps, but so at 9.5%. And IBU of 109, which is getting up there. Generally, people say that when you get around 100 IBU, which is International Bittering Units, or a measurement of the flavor, the bittering of flavor for hops, your tongue doesn't really register it, or the brain doesn't register it, actually. So we'll see. Some brewers like to put in tons of hops like this, and it definitely will make it a hoppy beer. And we'll see how it goes with this one. On RateBeer, this one has a grand total of 12 ratings, not too many, and an average score of 0.37 out of 5, 91 percentile for all beers, and 65 for its style, which is Imperial IPA or double IPA. So not terribly high ratings, but again, it's a little bit early to tell. Shall we give this one a go? Again, 1 ton IPA. Okay, so it is a kind of lightly hazy copper. Can kind of see through it, kind of not. And it's got a kind of thick, slightly off-white head. Not much lacing going on here, not terribly sticky. Aroma. Very thick grapefruity. Pine, some tropical fruit, and some alcohol fumes definitely coming up there. Very sweet, kind of stone fruity initial. Some caramel. Very sweet. And in mid-palate, those hops start jumping up in there. You can really feel them here. So it kind of tilts towards the bitter side. Extremely sweet, and then the bittering comes in. And this is a, what would you say? It's kind of a very fruity bitterness. I'm getting something like apricots in here. So maybe not necessarily like stone fruit, peaches so much, but apricots, something with a little bit more, slightly rougher character perhaps here. So this kind of reminds me of their regular house IPA, and it's very amped up for sure. Okay, it might be a little too boozy. I don't know. I can feel the alcohol. It's quite warming. But definitely full of flavor. So again, this is Shiga Kogen 1 ton IPA. See if you can find it somewhere in Tokyo. You might find it in a place called Shinshu Sakemura, kind of outlet shop that specializes in sake and beer from the Nagano area. And in Nagano, you can find this a number of places here. I actually found this in a 7-Eleven convenience store, unbelievably. And the second time I went back, about a couple weeks later, it was no longer there. But in any case, that was not too far from the brewery. So give this one a try, and let me know what you think. Leave a comment. Okay, I will reply. And subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing a lot more Japanese beers. The next 3 will be 3 more Shiga Kogen beers, and I hope you enjoy them. That's it for today. Bye-bye.